Hey guys, welcome to Skybound. My name is Sam Bashor, and I'm here with a very special interview with Mr. Ian Howe of Skybound Games. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. We actually got to talk before the camera started rolling. I'm very excited to talk about Skybound Games. Can you tell the folks out there a little bit about this new project?
I guess it is a new project. Doesn't feel like a new project to me because I've been working on it for so long, but today marks the release of our first two games, and I guess it's been a year, 18 months in the process of an idea that I had and manifesting itself eventually in our first two games coming out. So we are a new games publisher, and I'm very fortunate to be working with the good people at Skybound in putting that together and hopefully bringing some great games to everybody out there, and taking a little bit of a different approach to games publishing, and hopefully a bit more of a more human approach and a bit more of a fan-based approach maybe, because that's ultimately, everybody is a massive fan of video games and we get to do what we love, which is actually pretty special.
That is very special. I was actually able to play Slime Rancher before we started recording today, and I had a blast. So could you tell us a little bit about your two games that are now physically available as of recording right now? You guys can run out and get them for Xbox and PS4.
Absolutely, yeah. So the first game we actually ever signed as a publisher was Slime Rancher, and that came about through a year or so ago. I was kind of on Steam looking at, games that were trending and games that had really captured people's imaginations, and Slime Rancher popped up. I started looking into it a little more and wasn't actually honestly not familiar with it. And what I noticed though was that almost universally people were praising the game for certain elements, and I downloaded the game, started playing it, and within about 5 minutes fell in love with it. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to them, and they didn't have any immediate plans for putting the game in a box. And I felt that that would be a big opportunity for the game and to give it the chance to go into a wider audience. And a year or so later, here we are with it coming out today. So I'm very happy to be able to help with that one. Mm-hmm. And then The Long Dark is actually a game I've known about for many years and saw when it was in its very early development, and tried to sign it in a previous life when I was running a different publisher. For whatever reason, that didn't work out. And one of the very first calls I made when we kind of kicked things off with Skybound Games was to Hinterland. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty honored that they took the leap of faith and decided to work with us as a new publisher. And here we are, Skybound 001, Skybound 002, our first two games.
It seems like you guys are taking a different approach when it comes to indie gaming. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
I don't know if it's a different approach. I think we're pretty passionate gamers. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's first and foremost. We talk about games all the time. We talk about what we're playing and what we like and what's inspired us. And so for me, when the opportunity came to work with Skybound, one of the reasons that was really interesting to me was I've been talking for a long time in the video games industry about the need for creators really to be given, I guess, more of a platform. And oftentimes they are the hidden stars of our industry. And it felt a little upside down to me, is that the publishers always were front and center, and the developers oftentimes were just in the background. And honestly speaking, they're the guys who do the hard work. And at a publisher level, we're really there as a service to them as creators. And that's how Skybound Games has been set up. And it really is in the spirit of when Robert Kirkman created Skybound, to put the creator at the center of everything is something that I passionately believe in. And that's where this has all come from. It's come from that passion to give creative voices a platform.
Could you tell us a little bit about what it's like picking one of these games? Because I can hear your passion when it comes to these games and the creators behind them. What's the process like for you?
I tend to look out for games that speak to me, that are doing something different, that are doing something unique, that are doing it well. And then I'll approach the developer and just talk to them honestly about games and about their influences and about what they're looking to do. And every developer is different. Every developer is normally at a different stage. Every developer has different capabilities of what they can do. Some are very, very fiercely, staunchly independent, for which I tip my hat to them because I know how hard that can be just to go it alone. Others are definitely willing to say, yeah, we could do with some help. What I want to harness is what they've captured. So really allowing them to stay at the center of all those decisions about what goes in the box, what does the box look like, when does it come out, what price it is, how do we engage the audience, how do we talk to people? All of those things are really, really important, and so in that respect we become an extension of their team rather than the other way around, and that's the key differentiator here.
We have some viewer questions if you wouldn't mind.
Absolutely, yeah.
I would love to read them. We pulled them from social media, and today we have one from Twitter. Eli Pina Monta writes, what's the best thing about creating games and meeting fans from around the world?
I'll be honest, people who work with me have heard me say this often. I couldn't write a line of code if my life depended on it. But I think where I try and play a part is when I see somebody's vision for what they're trying to make, and then I figure out how can I play a part in that? How can I help that come to life? And one example I can think of there is a game I worked on in the past called Abzu, which was a game created by a guy called Matt Nava, and a team called Giant Squid based in Santa Monica. And I saw that game when it was on 6-7 PowerPoint slides. And I fell in love with the concept instantly. And it was a long journey from those PowerPoint slides to that game getting released. But what a great process to be involved in. And to play a small part in allowing that project to come together, that to me is the biggest reward I get for what I do.
We have another question here from Dave M. Hendrick on Instagram. My kids are both huge gamers and aspire to be developers/designers. Any advice?
I mean, there's a million pieces of advice I could give, but probably the most important one is to really hone in and focus in on that passion. Don't wait for things to happen. You have to make things happen yourself, whether that be sending in ideas to companies or engaging with people in the industry as much as you possibly can do through social media. There's often a phrase that everybody's got a good book in them. Well, you could say the same about games. I think people who grow up playing games are, without question, the best people to design games because they come from such a standpoint of being able to relate to different types of game experiences and how those things fit together, but also ending up making the game that they always wanted to play. And I think there's definitely elements of that in both of these games, and I think most of the games we're going to be working on in the future. So I would just advise ultimately is just follow your passion, but definitely network.
Yes. I think you have something special here with Slime Rancher and The Long Dark, and if people have played it before, hey, maybe run out and go pick it up. If you haven't played these games before, definitely go pick up these first two games from Skybound Games because they are special. I'm excited to see the other games that you guys are developing or working with creators to have them released soon. Because
and we have cupcakes.
Oh, we do. How could I forget?
We have cupcakes.
How foolish!
We have a Long Dark cupcake.
There's a
Skybound Games cupcake.
And most importantly, yellow Slime Rancher right there.
Yeah,
is adorable. That's amazing. Well, very exciting. Make sure you guys go pick up Slime Rancher and The Long Dart. They're available right now for PS4 and Xbox One. They're amazing. Highly recommend them. And make sure you subscribe to Skybound Games so you know what else is coming out because you're not going to want to miss it. My name is Sam. This is Ian Howe. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hey, and cheers.
Cheers.